Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and today I'll be doing a 4K review breakdown of Arcane Season 1. But before we begin today's episode, as always, you can listen to our podcast on podcast platforms around the internet. That includes Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and more. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to our show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads at FilmOptix. That is Optix with an X. Or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie-related questions. Or you can send us a text message by searching in the episode notes at the very top. There is a link that says send us a text message, and you'll be able to send us a text message with your movie-related question, and we will answer it here for you on the podcast. But before we dive into today's episode, I would like to start off with a couple of disclaimers for you guys. Firstly, I would like to extend my gratitude to Riot Games and G Kids for providing this title we'll be discussing here today. They have generously offered this title for the review purposes of this podcast episode, and I'm very excited to dive in. Secondly, I want to set expectations for this discussion. Since I'm covering an entire series of television, I will not be able to dive deeply into each episode. Instead, I will be sharing my overall thoughts on the series based on what is provided in the package. And hopefully that will help you decide whether or not this is worth adding to your Blu-ray collection. P.S. It is. So let's get started. So as I've mentioned before, I'm going to be giving my thoughts, my opinions on Arcane Season 1, the 4K UHD package. That is what was sent to me by G Kids and Riot Games. So again, thank you guys for sending that over. So there are 3 different versions of Arcane Season 1 that you can buy. We're going to start with the lowest version, which is the standard Blu-ray. Comes with a nice little cover. It runs for around $34.99. It's a non-steelbook. It's just your run-of-the-mill Blu-ray packaging that you can buy at your local retailers, including Amazon, Target, Walmart, not Best Buy. Unfortunately, they do not sell physical media anymore. For shame on you, Best Buy. But let's get back to the topic at hand. They also sell a steelbook Blu-ray cover that has violets on the front of it, which is actually pretty awesome. And it's mainly like a matted rose red almost, which is pretty cool. That'll run you around $42.99. And if you want the 4K Blu-ray set, the one that was sent to me, that runs you $44.96 US dollars, of course. And that has Jinx on the cover. And it's this awesome blue powdered color. It looks amazing. I love Violet and Jinx equally. But if I had to choose one, I would definitely go with the Jinx cover. Just because it's only a few extra dollars more. These prices were pulled from Amazon before I started recording. So honestly, it goes up a little bit. You know, when you get into the steelbook territory, it's almost like you're splitting hairs, but hey, it just depends on if you have a 4K player or not and a 4K television. That's going to be the biggest deciding factor for you. I imagine most people will probably just pick up the Blu-ray, and then for major like physical media nutheads like me and or audiophiles or the tech gurus out there, they'll probably pick up the 4K Blu-ray, which again is amazing. Anyway, for those who remember, we covered Arcane Season 1 back in 2021. My gosh, that was 2 years ago. And I'm going to leave a link to our original review in the episode notes of this review for those who are interested in my original thoughts when I first watched Arcane Season 1 as it was airing on Netflix. But cut to now, I'm back here revisiting the series and sharing my thoughts on the 4K UHD Blu-ray release. That is a mouthful to say. So we're just going to say 4K Blu-ray to make it easy for you guys. And I got to say, this package has exceeded my expectations completely. It is rare for a video game adaptation to perform well, but it's even rarer for Netflix to release a physical copy from its catalog. I was so excited to dive back into the city of Piltover and re-experience this story on a 4K disc. The audio on this disc is incredible. Let me tell you, it's clear, it's precise, and you can tell that Riot Games and G Kids put a lot of effort into the 4K transfer. And if you have an OLED television like I do, watching this show on the 4K disc is going to feel like you're experiencing Arcane again for the first time. And I love it when you're able to still have that sense of wonder, that high that you've been chasing when watching like one of your favorite series. And Arcane is easily one of my favorite Netflix series. And honestly, I would go to say it's one of my favorite animated series, like ever. It's insane. But the best things about this show, or at least one of the best things about this show, is that Arcane doesn't require any prior knowledge of its League of Legends origins, because this is the origins of the League of Legends champions. I myself, I am a gamer, but I don't play League of Legends enough to enjoy it. I played it a little bit back in college. A few of my buddies, were looking for something fun and free to play. For about maybe a month and a half, we were kind of into League of Legends. We weren't very good, but that's pretty much my extended knowledge on League of Legends. I have always known that it's been there. It's just those type of MOBA games are not really for me, but I watch a lot of people play it and people love the crap out of League of Legends. But as I was saying, one of the best things about this show is that you don't require any of that prior knowledge. Like I just mentioned, Arcane is the prior knowledge. It is the origins. And even though I'm not a League of Legends player, I thoroughly enjoy this show from start to finish. I've watched it 3 times already. And honestly, I think that's part of the magic, that it serves such a rich backstory for the champions from the game. You have champions like Echo, Jinx, Violet, just name a few, Jace as well. And although, like I just mentioned, I'm not a regular League player of my own, but I do appreciate that Riot Games was able to create a fleshed out backstory for these characters while also catering to longtime fans of the game, because they effectively made this for the players. And producing this series was a huge gamble for Riot Games, given that they've never made a TV show before. And that's where these special features of this 4K disc kind of come into play. Unlike most Blu-ray releases today, which offer little to no extras when it comes to these special features, Riot Games and G Kids have included a 5-part docuseries titled Arcane Bridging the Rift. This is a series detailing the challenges and dedication that went into making Arcane Season One a reality. And each episode is around 30 minutes long, which gives you great value for your money. And there's also a breakdown of another set of videos that dive deep into the creation of key fight scenes as well. So it's pretty cool how they were able to pack this much special features into a disc and make it worth everyone's time. And I am aware that Arcane Bridging the Rift, you can watch it on YouTube, but like that's on YouTube. You can, watch it. If you buy this disc, you're going to have that forever plus more. And I think it's just really cool how they were able to include it in this package that comes with the Blu-ray and the 4K package as well. So no matter what package that you're getting those that extra content there for the special features. but I think it's nice that it's able to live on both sides of the internet and on a hard copy. But the special features of this packaging is probably one of the best things about the package overall. I watched every special feature on that disc and came away with a newfound appreciation for the show, even more than I had prior. You know, this is something that was huge for Riot Games, and you could see the tender love and care that was put into this series, and it's incredible how they were able to pull this off. Honestly, if you have not seen it, you definitely should. But not even just watching it, I think if you are into League of Legends or adult animation or animation in general, Arcane is a must watch. The new 4K Blu-ray version looks amazing, and it's perfect for anyone who prefers owning a physical disc instead of streaming it. And I get it, streaming is super convenient. I stream things all the time, but if there is a story that I find that I gravitate to and that I just fall in love with, I want to own that. I want to have that a part of my collection. And I think it's a good thing for physical media when it comes to Blu-rays to keep releasing, because, you know, it's not just like a hobby, but it's part of the culture, where a lot of shows, unfortunately, as people know, get lost or get removed from streaming platforms and they're never seen or heard from again. And I feel incredibly lucky that Riot Games and G Kids and Netflix was actually able to allow them to release this on physical media, whether you're buying the standard 4K package or the standard Blu-ray package. It's amazing. It's perfect for anyone who owns physical copies instead of streaming. Everyone streams, we get it, but there's, physical media is important too. Plus, season 2 of Arcane is coming soon. So now is the time to jump in to the series if you have not already. I pretty much already said my final thoughts within that past statement there, but this is definitely worth picking up 1,000%. It's not expensive. Trust me, I will let you know if it's expensive, but even if you want to get that 4K cover with Jinx, that steelbook, it looks beautiful on my shelf. I absolutely love it. For $44.96 US, it's not a bad deal. Honestly, none of these are a bad deal. I don't think they're asking much. And honestly, $45 for 9 episodes of television, plus all the amazing special features that you get, that's a pretty awesome deal, if I say so myself. So it gets my seal of approval for you should totally buy this. And of course, as you're watching this, it's gearing you up for season 2 of Arcane, which I believe the first part drops on November 9th on Netflix. So definitely check that out for sure. But that does conclude today's episode. If you enjoy what you heard, make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your preferred podcast platform of choice. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at From Optix. That is Optix with an X. And don't forget to share an episode of our podcast with a fellow movie lover. Whether it be your mother, your brother, or your significant other, spread the love for the Film Optix podcast with a movie lover in need. And again, for everyone out there, thank you so much for listening. If you've made it towards the end of this episode, if you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure to stay connected with us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, all that social media garbage for the latest updates. I'm Christian, signing off, and remember, life is like a movie. So go out there and make it a blockbuster.